Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Universal Lens. This is Christmas week, and I am
Dragon ass.
dragging ass this morning. I am John Emilio.
And
I am dragging Cooley.
Santa Henry.
Santa Claus.
Santa Henry.
Babbo Natale.
Brother,
Topo Gigio.
you're yawning up a storm, huh?
Yeah,
Did you see
wow.
it?
I
Our
don't know
last
why.
episode, I was talking, you started yawning.
I had that one yawn, and I apologized about it too. That was fucking horrible. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I'm dragging this morning. I don't know why. I'm a little tired. Well, tired. It happens. And I slept well too. But
well, I mean, I don't think that people understand like when we do these. So like we either do them at the bookend of the day of the night or the bookend
in the
of the morning.
Yeah, we never do it like at 2 p.m.
You know, so like the things we do for people.
Yeah,
but you know what? I can't say that because we love to do it. So
yeah, no, I love to do it. I'm just, it's one of those mornings where I feel like I'm just dragging. Anyway, anywho, I hope everybody's having a nice week. I hope everybody's being mindful and present and doing all that lovely stuff.
Yeah. Now for the weather.
It's gonna fucking rain, yeah.
I want to ask you something.
Yeah, ask away, man.
This has been on my mind for a few days.
Oh boy.
Because the season kind of prompted me. Like, it's Christmas time, all right?
'Tis the season.
So let me ask you. A few years ago, and I'm going to bring you back. A few years ago, I'm interested personally, but I also thought it would make good content for this. If you recall, a few years ago, remember you told me I used to look forward to Christmas. It was a magical feeling. You know where I'm going. It was a magical feeling. It was something that always made me feel good, something that I really looked forward to.
Yeah,
and then
man.
I lost it. I don't have that anymore.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that was the year I started. That was the year I started therapy. That was pretty much the beginning of the road for me.
And you said I lost that, and I'm like, fuck. So that chat stuck with me. Like, obviously, I didn't forget it. But now I fast forward a few years later, right?
Yeah.
And I think back of all the episodes we've done together, and all the different ups and downs that we've had, personally, off air, on air, whether we recorded it or not. And I'm thinking to myself, listen, personally speaking, like, I have ups and downs, in my personal situation, but I am in a such better place mentally, or I guess you could say wholly, right? Not even wholly.
Holistically?
Yeah, holistic. There you go. Holistically, that I'm actually enjoying these holidays more than this is a blind spot. This is one of those that hits you. I didn't see myself really enjoying, for example, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to me was whatever. Truly, when Thanksgiving came, I had the feeling of Thanksgiving. Like, I give thanks for real. And now this is approaching, and so I haven't seen my son in a little bit. In other words, we see him, but it's
Cookie, because he's at school.
Few and far in between.
Yeah, because he's at school. Yeah.
I have a deeper appreciation for when I'm with him.
Of course, because you haven't.
Because I'm completely aware.
Yeah, the absence makes the heart grow fonder.
No, but I'm aware.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
It's that awareness that kind of highlights everything, right?
Sure.
So you tend to be very in tune with what you're feeling, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, how you're thinking, what the interaction is with the other people. So coming back to my question. Back then, you lost the feeling. You lost that magic. Where are you today? What would you say? Would you say that you've recaptured the feeling, or would you say that it remains dull?
So it's different, but it's not dull.
It's neither A or B.
It's neither A nor B. It's C, which is, I'm sorry if I'm too far from the mic. It's C, which is actually better than A. Is better than it was before, but not in a giddy feeling.
In a meaningful way.
It's an appreciation now. So now it's an appreciation. So before, for me, the holidays were very, they were based on how I felt. So I would see Christmas lights and I would get this,
warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, like that little sugar high from it.
Sugar high.
Oh, so nice. And the Christmas lights are great, and the tree and the decorations and the Santa Claus and the city lit up and everybody with their houses with lights on.
And the smell of hot
chocolate.
chocolate.
And the smell of hot chocolate and roasting. And I think I said it in the book. The smell of hot chocolate and, the smell of roasting nuts on the street corners. Chestnuts roasting. The smell of fireplaces burning. For me,
a little urine in the background.
Yeah, I was in the city, yeah. But it mixed in nicely. It wasn't bad. A little acidic, but it added to it. And it just brought about, it was just this like, it was a surreal feeling because I was almost experiencing through thoughts like, wow, this is so cool. And when that disappeared for me because of what I was going through, it bothered, like you said, it bothered me. And actually, this was I wrote it in the book, and I spoke to Dr. Tatiana about it, and that's where joy. We have an episode, Joy and Happiness. That's where it became about joy at the holidays, where a deeper appreciation for what it was. So I valued the holiday season. So I chose to enjoy it in spite of what my mind was saying. I chose to be present in spite of what my mind was saying. And what would happen is I would become so present in the moment, I would experience it in a new way, where I was appreciating it. And I was getting a hint of that old feeling, but it wasn't even that. It was a new perspective. It was a new way to look at it. I almost can't find the right words. I would be so present in the moment of when I was experiencing whatever I was experiencing. It happened that year, at that Christmas, that it took it to a different level. Now I didn't need old memories or a scent to bring up a memory or a smell to trigger something or a visual object to trigger something. I would see it and appreciate it. So it was completely different. So, I mean, you go now. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think when we're kids, we tend to be a little bit more giddy about things like that in general. And as you get older, like everything else, it dulls. Things, you acclimate to certain sensations over time. Because for me now, a lot of adults will be like, yeah, Christmas. And they look at it as a job. They look at it as something that they have to do. Kids look at it as this magical experience. And I was able and fortunate enough to hold on to that for a very long time. I mean, where I was like still engrossed in all that. Oh. Now I took it to a whole different level. And now the holidays for me Christmas for me is just a beautiful time of year where I could appreciate decorations. I could appreciate the music. I could appreciate, getting together with the family. But it's different. It's not the way it used to be anymore because it's on a deeper level. Now I'm experiencing this. I'm experiencing it now. I'm experiencing it through consciousness, through presence, through living it now, instead of experiencing it through memories. Before I would see a tree and there'd be a memory. Oh, remember when I was a kid? Oh, and I would see the Christmas lights. Oh, remember, and it would always go back to remember when I was a kid. Remember when it was like this, and the smell would remind me of, the chestnuts. I remember when they used to make the chestnuts. So I was never. It was always, and I was thankful enough to have great memories to attach to those. I was always very grateful for that.
Right.
But once that disconnect happened, because my mind said, "Fuck this! It doesn't matter anymore. I don't care. I have bigger things to worry about than bringing up these memories," and it didn't want me to enjoy it at all. I had to step outside of that lane and get into another lane where I could appreciate it more. So for me now, it's more of an appreciation. Is it better? I think it's better because I enjoy the holiday on a different level. I don't need to have these giddy feelings to appreciate it anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a difference between loving and loving deeply. Like it's
like surface love and deep love.
Yeah, so I think so. I'm not I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional at this, but I think that there's pre-mindfulness or pre-awareness, and then there's post-awareness, right? So I think pre-awareness is something that somebody has given you. In other words, I give you this thought here.
No, the cable maybe. Yeah, that's good.
So I give you this thought. It's not that you came up with it. I give it to you. And therefore it's imprinted on you
Yeah, exactly.
because you're unaware and you just absorb. Your subconscious just absorbs it. So kind of what happened to us pre-awareness.
Yeah. You're on autopilot.
Yeah, so all these things that are, come Christmas time, our beloved Mariah Carey's, songs, and I do stress beloved, I'm a 90s guy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, those songs, great Christmas songs.
Yeah, she's also easy to look at, Mariah's the best. All right.
Still to this day, yeah.
So you have the Peanuts cartoon Christmas. You have all the Santas everywhere.
All the movies.
You go to the mall, and it's like decked out, and then so everybody's house has a tree. So all these subliminal messaging sticks to our subconscious, and is that me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it sticks to our subconscious, and then we're given, in my opinion, we're given what to think about Christmas.
Yeah, sure you are. Absolutely.
And
I like this. Yeah, it's a good take.
And I like it. In other words, because I was like you. So Christmas was coming around. I felt the magic.
Yes.
Right? It was all false. Right? There's no magic. But those images conjured up and created this magic that you just loved it. And oh my God, you could feel it. And it was great.
And it was a great experience. It was great to experience that for that.
And I think we take that with us to adulthood. Because again, we were unconscious. And we just take it and we just, that's the way it is, right?
Until it's not.
And then there's a realization that, so obviously, right? What is it? Before, it's always darkest before dawn.
It's always darkest before dawn, yeah.
So when we face that darkness, like, fuck Christmas, fuck you, and
ho ho ho,
right? But then we learn, and then we become very conscious and we become aware. And as that skill sharpens and as that goes, you have that deep appreciation of Christmas and what it means and what it represents. And by the way, what it represents to each and every person, because it could be different for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's that deep appreciation. This is similar to the feeling that I was saying to you in Thanksgiving. But now in Christmas, this is like universal. This is, because not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving, but now universally, there is an energy in the world that, again, we are the universal lens people. We are connected. We're all connected somehow. There's vibes connecting us. We don't see these wires connecting us. So there's an elevated spirit. There's an elevated mood. Now, some of us may not feel it. Some of us may feel it. But if you're aware, it's a deep feeling. It's a deep appreciation. And it's like what I said, it's different between loving and
it's like love and infatuation. They're two different things.
Well, I wouldn't say infatuation because...
Well, no, no. So one, like infatuation is like you're infatuated with the person, their looks, what you think you see. Love is you go beyond what you see and you go inside the person.
100%.
So infatuation is like, I'm infatuated with her wife. She's pretty. She's cute. She's
big
hot.
ass.
Yeah, man. Whatever floats your boat. Right? Whatever keeps the boat above water. Whatever, and that's great. Right? But that eventually, the infatuation wears off. The same way that whole magical thing we were talking about Christmas, like those feelings. Something happens in life at some point that maybe changes that for you, and then do you sour on that holiday now? Are you souring on that holiday because you're not getting that candy? The same way when somebody's looks fade because we're human and we age, right? I mean, not everybody gets to age like a fine bottle of wine, but right. When we age, when we age,
I love how you point.
When we age, our bodies change, and how many people leave their spouses for that specific reason? Because they want to find something younger, something better, something newer. And that's the same thing. So, I mean, well, that's a different topic,
Yeah.
but it's based off of the same mentality.
Yeah.
Where with Christmas, with the holiday, you were telling for me what happened to me all of a sudden when that feeling went away because of something I was going through in my life. Like it disappeared completely. I could have turned on the holiday and been like, I hate Christmas. I don't want to be around for the holidays. I want to go away. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to hear a fucking song. I don't want. No, instead, I found a deeper appreciation for the holiday. I found something, I valued it so much. I said, why am I going to throw it away just because this old mental behavior of mine or attachment of mine disappeared now, right? As it does with our minds. Why would I cast it aside? For what? Let me see if there's something deeper to it. And I did. I found joy inside of it instead. I didn't need, and that's the whole happiness and joy thing. I didn't need to be happy at the holidays, but I was joyful. And actually, if you listen to the Christmas songs, they all speak about one word. They don't use happy. They use joyful a lot.
Joy to the world.
Joy to the world, right? They use joy a lot in Christmas music. It's something deeper, a bit, and it's not religious or anything like that, which is fine if it is for somebody. But for me, it was just the whole holiday, the holiday as a whole, right? For me, I found just a deeper meaning for it, and I enjoyed it more on a different level. And we're saying the same thing with people, with attachment to things. Like something gets old, we want to cast it aside because our mind eventually acclimates to something, or something happens in our life. You ever hear somebody says, "I woke up one morning and I didn't love you anymore"? How is that possible? How do I wake up one morning and not love you anymore? Yeah. I wake up one morning and maybe realize you've aged 20 years, or the person looks at me and goes, I've aged 20 years. Maybe I put on a few pounds. I look differently. I smell differently. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the same person. This young this young stud that I was, that it just came in. The young stud that I was 20, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, 20 years ago. And you cast it aside and you leave and you go get another. I mean, and this kind of goes off topic a little bit, but you go to another spouse. And then what happens with that one? When your mind tells you 5 months later, I don't love you anymore. Love isn't about what you look like. That's what gets you in the door. That's what attracts you to the door. You go to the door and go, that's a pretty door. But let me open the door and go inside and see what's there. Because once you go in,
because it's important.
Yeah, it's important.
It's important that you physically like what you're looking at and that you're attracted to it. It's part of a package.
That's gonna bring you to the door.
That's right. It's part of a.
But that's it. That's all it's gonna do.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think on a deeper level, and again, I'm not an expert. There's the pre-awareness and there's the post-awareness. And I think what happens is pre-awareness, we're not in tune with what our values are. So there is no connection between Christmas and our values. We just have the sugary Christmas lights and feelings.
Yeah.
But our values aren't identified yet. I think when you are conscious and you practice mindfulness and you're aware, you've identified your values. You can feel.
Yeah, values are different. They're deeper. Values are very deep. They're not surface level shit.
So I think, follow me. Pre-awareness, values, yeah, sure, I got it, but they're not identified. Yeah. Post, my values are identified. Yeah. I identify them. And then when
they become your compass, your values.
Yeah, so now when we have this input, they attach to our value or not, right? So some things yes, some things no. And when they align, you get that feeling. Is that so? Like same thing with like you know, again, I think it's related. Same thing with values of that person you're with, right? So if you wake up one day and you say, well, I just don't love you anymore.
I find that, I mean, yeah.
That's not, that can't be true, right? I mean, it could be, I guess.
It's not that it can't be true. It's that, let's ask the question, what do you mean you don't love me anymore?
It had to be a process.
Exactly. I mean, look, and there could be things where the person treats you horribly. We're not talking about that. We're talking about like somebody wakes up one morning, turns over, looks at the person in the bed and goes, yeah, I don't love you anymore. And for reasons beyond, if they don't get along anymore or they don't, and there's probably issues, we could dive into that too. But like, it's not about somebody being a toxic person or they treat them bad. I'm talking about, they look at them and go, yeah, I just don't love you anymore. For like out of the blue, like one of those out of the blue things. Not like something's been building up and there's arguing and they're not getting along or their egos are just bashing every day. They're incompatible. I think it's that everything is going good. They wake up one morning. I don't like their mind just goes, this doesn't do it for me, and they believe it because they don't have that awareness. Right? You're saying pre-post awareness, that pre-awareness, they don't believe it. And the same thing with the holiday, like we were saying before. Post awareness, even if that thought comes up, you realize that thought isn't saying that you don't love the person. That thought's telling you notice maybe a physical change in this person. In your mind, this preconditioned thing in our head, which likes to look at things and analyze and break down everything and come up with reasons for and against. That's all it's doing. But if you know the person inside and you love that person, you don't fall out of love with them because of looks or something like that. It's so I mean, yeah, I mean,
So so again, my father, for all his flaws, did teach me. One of the things he taught me was a saying. He says, "You see, every house, behind every door, there's a story."
mm,
So I don't pretend to be a marriage expert,
I love that.
right? I don't pretend to be a marriage expert, but there definitely is something to knowing your values, being aware, and being in a relationship. I think, given think about this, today's divorce rates are off the charts, right? Which is a reflection, and the reason I mentioned it because it's a reflection of the relationships between people, husband and wife, and it's just a sign. I don't want to say a sign of the times because
I think it is.
it is, right? But
Yeah.
there's also that personal responsibility for what's happening, and I think it's, again, I'm not saying that if these people practice mindfulness, there wouldn't be divorce or there wouldn't be such a high rate of divorce. But I will say this.
It would be a lot less.
Okay, like that's where I'm going. Like
It would be a lot less.
so, like
How many of the wow, this we flew off for Christmas quick. How many of the divorces that in your personal life were because somebody was beating somebody was super toxic, or was it just like he just went and started cheating on her? She started cheating on him.
a little bit of everything.
Right? I need somebody to comfort me. Oh, I feel like she's not giving me any attention, like, if you know what I mean, right? Or and it's stuff like that I've majority of times I've heard. Yes, there are the other cases, of course, where it's a toxic person, somebody's God forbid, unfortunately, abusing another person, or there's other deeper issues that they can't resolve. I can appreciate that, right? Because we all are human beings, and there are flaws, but a majority of them would disappear because I'm not gonna leave because my mind now says you're not the door is weathered on the outside. You have a front door to your house? What happens if that front door, you paint it the first day you move into a house, that door looks beautiful, but the sun beats on that door every day for 30 years. What happens to the door eventually?
A little withered.
It gets a little weathered on the outside, right? Sure. But does the door still work the same way? Still works the same way. Still protects the house the same way. Just the surface has gotten a little weathered. A lot of people rip their doors off and put new doors on, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you shouldn't change your front door if it's getting weathered. I'm trying to give you it's an analogy, right? But it's the same way that we weather, and in time somebody looks at that door and goes, I don't like this door anymore. I want a new door. But for that reason only, is the door not working? No, the door works fine. Does the door still close? Yeah, no, locks beautifully. Does it still protect the house? Absolutely. How does it look from the inside? It looks gorgeous. So why are we getting rid of the door? I don't like the way it looks from the outside. And people do that with their spouses. So if you had mindfulness, I don't like, again, nothing's guaranteed in life. I could safely say a lot of those divorces would be a lot less, because people won't be listening to those voices that just need things to be a certain way all the time. And like they would look at that person inside, right? And love them on a different level. The same way I fell in love with Christmas on a different level, 7 years ago.
And I come back to the coupling of values with the person. In other words,
huge.
I think that's
tremendous.
I think that's what makes that.
If your value systems align, you and your spouse, that supersedes for me. For anybody who's any mindful person or aware person or conscious individual, a alignment of values supersedes immensely how we age on the outside. For a person who's a little bit more shallow and their value systems don't align, or they never even go deep enough to see if their value systems align, it stays there on that shallow level. And what happens is cast it away.
It's sugary. It's not as meaningful.
No.
And again, because you're unconscious, you interpret that sugar to be wholeness. And it's sugar. You met her. She met you. She's attractive. Oh my God. I had a story in my head. She had a story in her head. We got married. All of a sudden, there is no value matching. There was no awareness of, hey, you know what? She ages just like I age. We both age. Because it's not like the clock stops for me.
No.
Hey, I'm a little bit piggy in the bathroom too. I could also help out around the house. Hey, I could, so you have flaws. She has flaws. But there's this value matching that the flaw you live with because it's nothing compared to the forging that happened when those values were met. When those, again, it's that forging of the feeling of that gratitude in Christmas versus the sugary,
the sugary magical feeling that disappears as you get older.
Yeah,
as you get older,
and
for a
so
lot
like
of people. Yeah.
So there you are, right, in your early 50s or mid 50s, and you're like, 30 years of this fucking thing. If you see it like that, then it never went past superficial. Right?
No, it never went past superficial. And I can guarantee you that won't be that. If that person gets divorced, chances are it won't be their last one. It won't be, because you ever noticed people who are stuck in that mentality tend to get divorced multiple times. They do, because eventually everything that you have ages. It's a natural part of life. I mean, aging is a part of life. If you're attached, the egoic that's all the egoic mind. If you're attached to looks fade, and you see this with a lot of even actresses and actors and famous people, how they try to hold on to their youth by injecting their faces constantly because they can't accept that they're not what they were. That feeling when they look in the mirror is not there anymore, so they try to hold on to it and hold. That's what I mean, and that's also not cosmetic surgery because there's benefits to it, for certain things that that I guess you want to clean up, but for things like that, like with actresses and actors, why do you think they do it? Because as that fades, they become depressed about the way they look. They're suffering. They don't like it, so they try to recapture something by changing their appearance. When the appearance fading is the natural part of life, and if you have any awareness at all, you don't see the outside anymore. You see past it. So what you see on the outside is it's a veil. It's a veil. That's all it is.
100%.
You have to learn how to peek past the veil. If you're only looking at the veil your whole life, I mean, you're never going to really truly experience what's behind it. You're never going to. So that's why. So getting back to the whole Christmas thing, I never really got to truly experience what Christmas was about until I lost the giddy, magical feeling. And that probably sounds like paradoxical. Like, what do you mean? Hold on. So you lost the magical feeling, but you experienced Christmas on the. Yes, because now I truly get to experience the holiday for what it actually is. I enjoy the movies. I enjoy the lights. They're pretty. We put up our tree. We decorate our house. It's pretty. I enjoy it. It's nice, but it's different. Like, I enjoy the holiday on a different level. It's about family. It's about getting together. It's about the traditions that we have, right? What we do at my mother's house, what we do at our house, what we do the day after at my sister-in-law's house. But it has nothing to do with the magical, giddy feeling. It's now deeper, right? I make it about a tradition of what we do with our family and how that tradition then, Raj, evolves, because we don't hold on to it either. It doesn't always have to be like that. And how it evolves over time, how things evolve over time. So if you're only walking up to the door and just staring at the door, but you never actually open it to peek and see what's inside, I don't think you're ever really you're never experiencing anything fully. You're superficially just experiencing things in life, whether it's a person, a holiday, an object.
And as you're telling that story, I'm also seeing that we revert back to, again, a little bit of Scott Adams, that life is subjective. Our experience is subjective because you're seeing it that way. But you could be in the same
reality.
Yeah. You could be in the same room with the guy who's just seeing it through a sugar rush. It's like, and you're like, ah. And it's almost like it takes me back to that scene in the Polar Express.
Oh, I love that movie. My wife hates it, but I don't know
when the little kid can hear the bell.
The bell and nobody else can.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he can't hear it because he doesn't believe anymore. So for us, we hear the bell because we're in tune with the when I say that meaning, what this means. It's past the sugar rush level. This is a deep meaning, an alignment of values that is just that if you got this feeling, you're the only one that can hear that bell.
Can hear that bell.
The guy in front of you who's in a sugar rush, he can't hear it. And so similarly happens to me in my relationship with my wife. So I consider myself, I'm aware, I'm in tune, I'm conscious of how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling. So I'm that person you described about, loving in a different way, not loving super. That's me, right? So I don't doubt my wife loves me. She adores me. Trust me. I don't have an issue, but she's not aware. She's not as aware. So if I see her, I also see myself. In other words, I look in the mirror. There's less hair, right? You can see you can critique yourself, right? You see the belly,
well, of course,
the body changes, right? The boobies.
Sure.
But
boobies.
But
talking about yours or your wife's?
Mine.
Oh, okay.
But just because I see it doesn't mean that I'm going to no, for me it's not a sugar rush. For me it's a deeper awareness. Yeah. I know what's going on. It's called aging. It's normal. Beep, it's what you got. All right.
No, it's an acceptance of this is the cycle. That's a whole different topic, but it's an acceptance of the cycle of life. That's just how.
But this is what I'm saying. The subjective nature of it. So I look at it, and though it may bother me for a split second, I click back and sense it's life. This is what happens.
No, you don't take that thought seriously. You don't take that thought seriously.
And I can then.
It's so simple,
right? And I don't.
But yeah, it's so tricky.
I don't doubt that my wife still loves me, even though I got fatter, I got balder. I don't doubt it. I know it. I feel it. I'm in love with her in a very deep level, but I see her suffering because she has her aging, and again, she's not as aware.
Yeah. Well, that's self-confidence more than anything else. Yeah. Which is attached to the thinking mind, which is attached to thought patterns, which is attached to believing the voice in your head, to why, I have to, my hair's, I'm getting white. I have to paint. What do the girls do? They dye their hair, right? Well, now they even have temporary sprays you can spray in between, so God forbid somebody sees a white hair in your head, right? And look, and that's fine if you want to do that, right? It's up to you. But, I get doing that to make yourself look nice, makes you feel nice. I get that. But eventually Mother Nature keeps catching up, right? And she's going to keep catching up. And who wins in the end? We don't win that.
Never
game.
You.
Never us. So why do I want to have that fight now at all? I'm aging. Okay. You take care of yourself as you're aging.
Right.
You eat healthy, you try to get exercise. Right. You do all the right things like that because that's good for your body. But at the same time, we're still, no matter what we do, we're going to age, right? We're going to age. So if you're with a partner, you're with somebody, look at that person and look at them, but don't look at them like physically. Look inside of them. Look into them. Look deeper into that person. And you're going to see, actually, you'll see a reflection of yourself. If you're a conscious individual, an aware individual, you'll be able to see what that person's truly about, what's inside of them, how they are. What made you fall in love with that person truly? And it might have been initially a pretty face, but even that after a couple of years, even when you're young, like, that changes, like that infatuation, like any magical new car smell fades eventually. Do I get rid of the car because the smell is gone? No, I keep the car for as long as the car is, works for me. And that's a car, not a person. But it's just to make it, just to give an example. You don't just cast something aside because it's aging, right? Because a person is aging, we cast them aside. And like we were saying before, with the divorce rates being so high, a lot of that is ego driven. People who believe every thought in their head, who aren't following values, who are following emotions and feelings. They follow them blindly, they follow them religiously. Like, my mind says, oh, you look different. And now I'm going to start treating you different because you look different. And that eventually the marriage falls apart.
And we mentioned last episode about social media and how mindfulness is kind of the antidote for social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because if you are, again, if you're not aware, if you're not conscious of what you're doing with this, and there you are, and you're seeing that, so and so is hot and so is this.
Oh, that makes it worse. Our phones, social media just makes it worse. It amplifies it. It's like plugging into the wrong, like we said earlier episodes, right?
So yeah, and look, so there's levels to things in my opinion. That's why I'm a guy who says from 1 to 10. Just there are levels. So if you're unconscious, you're being led astray by this. You're gonna go. It's gonna just grab you and it's gonna pull you by the nose and it's gonna take you wherever it wants.
Because you're not in control. I hate to use that word control, but you have no awareness, so you don't realize what's happening. Put it that way.
But if you have that deep connection, if you have that again, the alignment of the values with that person, and by the way, it doesn't have to be 100%. Like,
no, it doesn't mean you're
right.
You agree on everything. No, we're not talking about just because you love somebody doesn't mean you agree on everything with them. Me and my wife don't agree on everything.
Matter of fact, me and my wife are opposites. On most things, we're complete opposites.
We don't agree on everything, but your value systems supersede the differences.
Yeah,
supersedes the differences.
And so you have that, like, bulletproof from the toxic nature of this, which has repercussions in the real world. And you see people getting divorced and people, I start thinking, like, not so much our baseball group. Our baseball group is pretty good, but like other baseball groups and other, like, as time went on, I'm like, wow, they got divorced. Like, son of a bitch. Like, there's a lot of divorce. There's a lot of
divorce. Isn't it something like, and don't quote me, but like 50% of divorces.
It's gone past the 50%
in this country have end up in divorce. So one out of
the majority.
Yeah, majority. I mean,
we're now in the minority.
Yeah. So I mean, if you have 10 people in a room, like, literally, chances are 5 of them are going to get divorced.
Yeah, or more, 6.
Or more, 6 are going to get divorced at some point. And so it all comes back to the attachment to the mind, the attachment to the thoughts, the attachment to the emotions, the attachment to the giddy feelings, the attachment to everything except for, minus awareness, minus mindfulness, minus being able to be the one who's watching the thoughts, watching our minds, and realizing that, okay, my mind's telling me this, but that's not that. But like, that's not how I truly feel. That's not what I value. I value that person. I don't care that they've gotten older and they look different. I value that person there's a deeper connection, like a connection and that deeper connection, we use values as our entry point, but that deeper connection is even deeper than that, right? It's that we're all basically the same thing. We're all one consciousness, like a hive, right? We're all like a hive mind. We all actually are connected.
This is what I was saying.
Yeah, on a certain level. But you got to be able to see past the veil in front of you in order to realize that. And if you feel that, if you're with somebody and you actually do the work to look past that veil, you'll connect on a level where, and then you're talking, all of a sudden you start saying the same thing. You start completing each other's sentences. You start aligning in the way you're thinking about things. And that's not on the surface. That's because you've gone past the surface and you've gone deeper. You've now connected with that person to who they truly are, and they've connected to who you truly are. And once you do that, that bond is forever. Like you've connected to, and you could do it, by the way, it doesn't have to be a spouse. You could connect with a person, a friend on that same level. On that same level with anybody, you could connect on that same level. If they're aware enough, they'll allow you in and you'll be able to. I mean, somebody who's very aware could feel the presence of somebody, but they'll feel turbulence in that person because they'll tell that person is not fully aware yet, or they're just very connected with their thoughts and their minds and their thinking mind, and whatever comes up is the energy that they put out. So you could connect with anybody in that, but you got to be able to look past the surface. If it's only surface, like Christmas surface, trees, lights, smells, yay, magic, great. What happens when I take that away from you? What happens? And that's what happened to me.
You feel like shit.
I felt like shit for a while. I was like, this sucks. What's the point? This is horrible. I'm walking around the city and I can't enjoy a fucking thing until I realized, I was taught and it was explained to me the difference between joy and happiness. And do you value it? Yes. Then experience it anyway. Why would you deprive yourself of something you value and you care about just because your mind is telling you, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like going to the gym today, but I value exercising. It's important to me. It makes me feel good, right? I like getting the pump on. I like the sweat. I like raising my heart rate. There's something about it that resonates with you, but your mind tells you, fuck, no, I don't want to go today. You're not going to go? Or do you go anyway and say, no, I want to go because I want to do that. I want to be there. I want to do this thing. Why am I going to, because you're telling me you're not in the mood up here, but I'm in the mood, but I want to do it, but you're not in the mood to do it, but I want to do it. I'm not going to do it. No, you do it anyway. But most people don't because they think when the mind says, I don't want to do it, they believe it as, I don't want to do it. Like the deep eye, the real person.
That if what you just said right there doesn't resonate with like 85% of people out there.
Took me 42 minutes to get there, but I got there. God damn it.
that should resonate because that's exactly it. It's that.
Okay, I'm done. I'll see you guys.
It's that. I mean, dude, that's exactly right. I mean, think about that message because, again, barring genetic issues and blah 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 blah, people, you're gonna understand me. Like, you wouldn't have divorce rates, you wouldn't have obesity rates. Because obesity usually
it's eating habits.
Well, not only eating habits, it's I'm eating for comfort from something I'm.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Right,
from
something
right.
I'm battling.
Yeah.
And a lot of
comfort food.
Right, and a lot of what which by the way, I indulge. Yeah, I indulge.
Hey,
right?
A cookie always helps.
Shit, you kidding me?
But it does.
And by the way, if I was a little bit fatter, I would, I would still be.
Yeah, but I get what you were saying with the obesity rates. It's because it's an attachment to.
Yeah, I'm talking about, the people that really, took it to.
And listen, obviously there's always physical, like you said before, genetic components of that.
There's always everything.
This isn't about if you're a person who's overweight, because I'm not exactly Slim Jim. If you're a person who's overweight, that's absolutely fine. It's but absolutely fine.
But I hate to say that this is the fixing of the world, but it really kind of is.
Of course.
Think about that. I mean, dude, that was very good. It's that internal debate that you have with yourself. You're like, how could I have a debate with myself? Yeah, that's the point.
That's the debate. That's the point. How can I have a debate myself? People are like, you have to convince yourself. I'm always like, who do I have to convince? Myself. But I want to do it. So why do I got to convince myself? But your mind's telling you don't want to do it. I don't listen to my mind. Why am I going to? If I try to convince myself, I'm going to get into an argument with myself. You know who's not going to win? Me. Oh, I'm not going to win.
But you're also going to win. So
no, I don't know. I don't know who wins. But I don't like the real me doesn't win that fight because there's no fight to be had. It's and that's why value system. I've said it in my coaching class. Like I've actually said it in my coaching class. Like a value system is a compass, like to follow. Yeah. Right. A value system is a true compass, and awareness will be your navigator, right? So your values are your compass, and your awareness is your navigator. It's going to be the one who's going to help point with those values. And if that's what you base it off of, you will find something deeper than happiness or magic feelings or something that is timeless. So like the connection I have with certain people, and I say it's timeless because it feels like it never ends even when I'm not here. Like, and I can't explain that part, but it feels like it never ends when I'm not here. It's beyond the thinking mind. It's beyond what my mind wants to comprehend. It's beyond, any kind of magical foo-foo feeling. It's beyond, well, what happens in 20 years when this person's, or 30 years or 40 when this person's no longer here, or if I'm no longer here. It goes beyond that. Like that person never leaves me, because even though their body might someday, like and this is just how I feel, and a lot of people look at me crooked. Unless you're a spiritual person, then you won't look at me like I have like a dog. The dog tilts his head. For me, yeah, when if a person leaves me, if I leave a person, I would say, but I don't leave you, and nor do you leave me, because our energies, your energy, where we're connected, never gets broken. Our bodies might not be here anymore, but what we actually are never gets broken. Sure, on a human level, there will be sadness, there will be, emotions and feelings that will come up, because as human beings, we cannot help it but to experience and feel them, but we don't have to attach to them. And we could realize that there's something deeper,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, whether it's a holiday or a marriage or a person in your life or whatever, whatever it is, attaching to the feeling of what your mind perceives it as is different to valuing that person or that thing on a different level.
Yeah. So, yeah. So again, because we don't know everything, we're not know-it-alls, but the human experience is probably meant to be lived in a more than superficial way. And the majority of us are walking around superficially.
But that's the movement. That's kind of the movement that's happening now. Is this movement where people are? There's a bigger push, or just a larger movement in the way of becoming more aware and becoming more awakened. Like it's catching. It's becoming a trend where people are starting to realize there's more to life than just what our minds tell us. Like life is meant to be experienced, not experienced, not through memory and thought, but to be experienced, right? Like to experience it. You ever have a picture come up on your phone and nostalgia kicks in and it takes you back 30 years, and now you start saying, oh my God, how life was. Oh my God, my kids are so cute. Oh my, this is so, remember how beautiful that was. Oh my God, I can't remember how beautiful that was. And you're suffering and you're in pain.
Right.
You have a certain level of pain that you're feeling.
Right.
Even if most people won't admit it. Oh no, I love it. You love it, but it's like self-torture. It's like you're torturing yourself to feel 100%. The way things were.
100%.
And I'm like, I could look at a picture when my kids were young and I could appreciate it.
Yep.
Right?
And you love it, and you don't have the pain.
No, there's no pain. I look at it and go, oh, man, my kids were young. That was beautiful.
Look at that cute.
And that's it.
Yeah, you're done.
There's no, oh, I wish I could go back to them.
Right.
I wish I could go back, because it pulls you away from what only, and what only ever happens is the present moment. And maybe this is something that I haven't said in a few episodes, but like, you only live life now. That's it. Like, this now will never happen again. Even if I watch it on video in 2 hours, it's not happening. I'm watching it happen now, right. But like, it's like Spaceballs. When will then be now? Soon. Like, when will then be now? Soon.
No, it's very simple. In life, there is no rewind and there is no fast forward.
No, there's only play.
Play is stuck.
That's it.
You're stuck on play.
Yeah, but you're not stuck on play. It's the best place to be.
Right, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the best place to be.
You can't alter the machine. There is no rewind. There is no fast forward.
No, but people try to live their lives and rewind, and that's where the pain comes in.
Because you're going to see the picture of your cute little kids when they were like 1 year old. Like, oh my God. Yeah. And by the way, enjoy that moment.
Of course, but to enjoy the picture, there's something wrong with that. Absolutely.
But don't press the rewind button, and when it's not rewinding.
How many? So I'm not very big on Facebook. I mean, we put the videos on there, which I forgot to last week. I'm so sorry. I just had a busy week. I'm not good with the whole social media thing. How many things you see on whether Instagram, Facebook, I don't know, whatever social media, TikTok, your mom's ass, whatever you're on, I don't know, your sister's ass, I don't know what the hell, whichever one you're on. Do you see people publicly in pain over memories that happened?
A lot.
Right? A lot. And then you get a slew of, I could post a video and how to tell you not to suffer and it'll get 4 likes. If I post a picture of my kid when he was 5 and say, oh, I wish it was then, I would get 800 likes, 4,000 comments, and everybody would flow to it and float it. And because a lot of people that will ring true for them. Like that pain of, oh, how it was and how it was beautiful. And they're going to be like, but no, but I love the kids. I love the pictures. I just love it. And yes, of course, I'm sure you do. But how much do you see that on social media, right? How many people are posting that stuff? And you could see when they're posting it, it's a denial of letting go of what was. They want to hold on to it.
Yeah.
And I might not be popular with friends of mine that might be watching this. And I'm not saying it to try to offend anybody. I love everybody. But how much of that is a denial of not letting go of what was, trying to hold on to it for as long as you can, right? And for me, I use that example because it's a blatant example. It's like it's right in your face. It's screaming, "Hi, I don't want to let go of the past.
Yeah.
I want to live in the past. I want to live in the past. I want to live," and I got to tell everybody about it so I can get other people to come and tell me the same thing, so I know that they're feeling the same way.
Because
misery loves company.
Misery loves company. Holy shit, we are into oh my god.
Because misery loves company, and this isn't a
wow.
We're not here. We're not judging anybody. This isn't. We're noticing.
Explaining.
We're noticing and we're explaining what we see and how it keeps people stuck. So whether it's Christmas, somebody you love, a memory, whatever it might be, if you only see things in a certain light, in the light of the mind and how things feel and what happens when that feeling's gone, then you're not really ever truly experiencing life. Like you're not really truly ever experiencing life. Something goes wrong in my life, and I've said this 1,000 times, and I can't explain to you how it happens or why it happens. Something goes wrong in my life, which it does, almost on a daily basis,
right?
Which it does. I watch it happen to me. It's not happening to me, but I watch it happening. I watch it happening to me. I don't attach to it happening to me. And when I don't attach to it happening to me, more so than not, it moves on quickly. It finds another host. I don't know. It moves on quickly from me. It says, okay, well, this dude doesn't want to hold on to this negative energy. Let's go on somewhere else. There's a difference in saying, oh, this is happening to me. This is the worst, to saying, well, I'm noticing that this is happening in my life right now. I'm not attaching to it. I don't have to like it, but I'm gonna allow it to run its course that it needs to. And more so than not, whether it's an emotion, a feeling, even a physical pain sometimes, or something you're going through, tends to move on quicker because you're not forcibly trying to manipulate it while it's there.
Yep. And practice has helped you, and practice has helped me because I know.
Of course, yeah. It's an ever-going practice, right?
I resonate. In other words, what you're saying resonates with me. You know, and wow. It's
a never-ending practice. But so if you're at the holidays this year and you're not feeling that Christmas feeling, try to look past the Christmas feeling. Try to look past why you don't feel the way you did when you were 10 or 11 or 12 or 15 or 20. Why it feels different, and start trying to appreciate it for what it is. You might not value Christmas. It might not be a holiday that from you were a kid, or maybe you're not Christian and you don't experience. If that's the case, then it's just a moot point. It could be Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever it might be.
Or you had a scarring situation.
Whatever it might be. That's absolutely fine. I'm saying, but if you're one of those people who are, we're just very big into a holiday, and that holiday doesn't bring you that feeling because whatever, maybe you're feeling a little sad right now. You're not depressed. You're feeling a little sad. Or something happening in your life. Maybe you lost a loved one recently and you don't feel like you want to enjoy the holiday because usually a trigger like that, or an event like that is what makes that feeling wash away.
Yeah.
Now I can't enjoy the holiday anymore. Why? Because my mother passed, my father passed, my spouse passed, my thing passed. It's just not the same without them. Absolutely true. It will be different without
Right.
that person. But did you value that holiday when that person was alive? I'm gonna safely say 99% of the people are gonna say yes,
Right.
they did. So now why not value it now?
Right.
Why not value it? It's something you valued then. Still value it. Enjoy it on a different level. Let it evolve into something different for you. Don't hold on to, well, this person passed away, so I can't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, and if you're mourning their passing, it means you love them deeply.
You love them deeply, yeah.
And if you love them deeply, they loved you deeply, more 9 out of 10, right? And if they love you deeply, would they want to see you suffer? Would knowing what you know, do you think that they're looking down saying, "Good, don't enjoy Christmas. Good, suffer."
No. If you look at it that way, no, of course you could.
So
You could
I'm going to open another door and say, honor them for real. And
love them,
right?
Yeah, if you love them,
You can totally accept that if they were here, they wouldn't want to see you like this.
I'll give, and then we'll cut it short. I'll give one quick example. The year this all started for me was when my father-in-law got sick.
I recall.
Okay, right. And I think that was just that was just a straw that broke the camel's back. And I loved my father-in-law to death. And I think it was a very big. It was just a camel that broke. It was a straw that broke the camel's back for me. Anyway, he got sick, and he was in hospice on Christmas. He was in hospice, and we were there all week with him, and we were there as the holidays were going through. He was home still, but those last few days he was in hospice. Right, that night, Christmas Day night, it was the big holiday for that side of my wife's side of the family. Huge holiday, right? My father-in-law was the big, it was PJ's day, and my father-in-law was always the jokester. Great, we'd always have a great time. We still got together, right? He passed the next morning.
Wow.
The next morning, I think it was the 27th. I want to say it was the 26th, 27th. I forgot. 26th. No, Christmas Day was the 25th. We were together. So I want to say it was the 26th. The next, we went to bed then, and we were all together in my house here. He was in hospice. We brought my mother-in-law here. We said, stay with us for the night,
Sure.
right? He was okay. He was comfortable where he was. The next morning, I got a phone call early in the morning. He passed away. But that day, you said in honor, right? But because we all valued being together as a family, and I was a fucking mess at that moment, but we valued being together as a family. We got together that night. We didn't say, no, without Poppy, without Dad, we're not going to do this. And it's mirroring what you said, but in a different way.
Right.
We said, you honor that person. We valued it, so we did it. I can guarantee you, most of us were not in the mood to enjoy Christmas Day that day, right? Obviously, because of the situation. But we got together anyway. And then he passed. It's almost, which is kind of weird. He passed the next day, almost like my family experienced it. Now I could go.
Man.
And he did. And again, things we can't explain in life, nor do we try to, which is why I have this deeper connecting that there is a grand scheme or something that pulls the strings of the universe that I am not meant to know, and nor do I want to know. I just want to enjoy the ride while I'm here. And that's it.
I think that's my favorite part of the story. That when you look back, you got together anyway. And it didn't prohibit, it didn't prohibit that. No. Because if it would have prohibited, that would have sucked. I mean, not that.
It still sucked. I mean, right. I'm not saying it was like, but we did it because it was something that everybody valued. Like that's a holiday that my wife's, my side is Christmas Eve. It just so happens to be my wife's side is Christmas Day. And there's values on both sides. But for my wife's side, because that was the example I was giving, like they valued that holiday and they've never missed a beat. Like it's always, so we get to make choices in life, right? Do I choose to want to live my life how I value and how I want to live it? Or do I choose to live it by what an emotion or a feeling or my mind is saying at that moment? I mean, sit on that for a day and see what comes up. You never know. So if you're having a hard time this Christmas, take some of that advice. See if it helps you. Maybe you'll find something a lot better than what you remember it was, or what you think you remember it was. Now.
Wow, we did a job.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of job we did, but we did a job. We did a job. Yeah. So listen, again, everybody. Christmas is a very enjoyable season. If it's Hanukkah for you, then happy Hanukkah. If it's I don't know which other ones are out there. I can't
All of
keep
them.
up. All of them. Everybody, whichever one you celebrate. Celebrate it wholeheartedly. Celebrate it with your family. Celebrate it following your values. Celebrate it how you would want to celebrate it, in spite of what your mind or your emotions is saying. Because you'll know if you want to celebrate it. You'll know how you want to experience it, even if you got this thought or this feeling that keeps bubbling up, telling you no, 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 no. And listen to that inner compass. Listen to what's going to guide you to live the life you want to live. So, everybody have a Merry Christmas. Have an enjoyable holiday season. I don't know if we're going to be doing an episode next week. We'll see. But it might be in the new year. But if not, we'll see you guys next week. But everybody, enjoyable holidays. Blessings to everybody. And don't eat too many cookies.
Yeah, no, try not to.
And we'll end it like we usually do, with me putting everybody to sleep. Let's go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. And let's take a few moments here to just kind of decompress a little bit. Let's take a few minutes. Take some deep breaths. Breathe in and out. Just breathe in and out at your own pace, whatever you're comfortable with right now. And whatever's coming up, allow it to come up. Notice it. Pay attention that you're the one noticing it. You're the one seeing it. You're not the one recalling it. You're not the one asking for that thought or emotion to be there, but you're the one who's seeing it. And then bring your focus back to your breath. Keep taking those nice deep inhales, hold and exhales. And as you do, you start to notice that there is something watching it happen. You start to become aware of something greater than just a thinking mind. If you feel any tension in your body, release it, whether it's your shoulders, forehead, jaw. No judgment why it's there. Just notice and release. If you're not having any thoughts and you're just sitting in silence, notice the silence. And if something does pop in, as it usually will, notice that it's there and let it pass. When that thinking does slow down, the cessation of thought, that's when we get a clearer picture of what exactly our awareness is. Let's take a couple of more. One last one. And you can slowly open your eyes. If you like to stay here, go ahead. Or else, guys, happy holidays to you. I can't sing.
Joyful holidays to you.
Joyful, weird.
Joyful holidays. Joyful. Because...
Oh, I said happy. Look at that. Shit.
Because...
Well, that's a term.
No, because we always say, it's what you say, but this is my wish for you. Joyful. If you can savor that joy, that's a good thing.
Yeah, man. Have a great holiday, everybody. All right? Cookies, cake, family, fun, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yes.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.
Ho,
Peace
ho,
and
ho,
love.
ho. The insights and discussions that we speak about on our show are our own opinions and based on our life experiences. If you or someone in your family or someone you know is suffering and in need of help, please get them that help through medical attention or seeking proper therapy. Again, what we speak about are based on our experiences and not intended to be taken as a form of therapy. Thank you.